looks like this. This is officers, teachers, and committees for the year. Just trying to think if there's anything. You got your men's, women's, co-eds, adult Sunday school classes, grades 6 through 12, 1 through 5. And we did do that different this year with the kids because after COVID, the kids coming back ain't been real quick, so we just combined some classes so we didn't have, but usually broke out in each grade. Birth kindergarten and special needs, Sunday night and Wednesday night classes. Of course, that's Tammy Barfay's over all that. She puts together her people. Church officers, program directors, association executive. If we were to have a executive committee meeting with the on the association level, our local association, Larry Burton would be our representative on that. Our association messengers is Larry Burton, Earl Edna, and Frank and Linda Combs. And each year we have 2 meetings, association. Next week's one of them. We have an annual and a semi-annual meeting. And so they will be able to vote on behalf of the church on the association. Bulleter usher is Adam Cole. Brotherhood director is Frank Combs, Leo's assistant. Business meeting moderator is Larry Burton, and I am the assistant moderator. Again, we do that because actually if somebody comes up on a Sunday morning or something and joins the church, it actually turns into a business meeting. I hate to think about it like that, but that's essentially what it is. So I can moderate that. Church clerk, Carol Cole. Greeters, Leo, Irene Owens, and Joyce Lambert. Our teller, Sandra Griffith, George Johnson, Joni Lowe. Historian is Mary Douglas and Georgia Johnson. Of course, Robin's our music director, and Heather and Davidson, Danny Ork back her up. Treasurer is Deborah Newberry. Trustees. I'm lost. Our trustees, 3 standing positions. What's that mean? Yeah, them never change. You gotta go to court to change that. Right, question mark. These are court appointed. A trustee in the church is a court appointed position, so those never change. And our trustees are John Maxfield, Henry Price, Scott Lawson, and Steve Dyke. Those trustees, if we go for a loan, buying, selling property, they represent the church. They can speak on behalf of the church. Usher coordinator is Mike Mead. Usher coordinator is kind of who takes up offering on Sunday mornings. Of course, pre-COVID, we passed the plates. Mike would just be in charge of making sure he had some guys picked up, take up the offering. Bible school director this year is Don Van Dyke. WMU is Tanya, and Michelle is her assistant. Young at Heart director, that is our senior citizen group. Larry and Carol Cole do that. Like I said, senior citizen. Going over in the committees is baptism. Those are people that kind of help if we have a baptism here at the church, especially. Kenny will help get them in and out of the baptistry and get them down here. And if it's a lady, Marquita's usually down here to help her. From that door right there to that door right there to get to the bathroom to dry off and change clothes is slick when you're coming down through that way. So Kenny and Marquita are there to help us get there and do that and get that done. So they're usually there to, that's what a baptism committee does, is just help me out in the process of baptizing the candidates. Benevolent, take care of the benevolence matters, needs in the community that people preach out for. Building and grounds, of course, we went through these as we went through the Constitution. Rick Horn chairs that, and those are the people listed there on that. Constitution bylaws, of course, again, we went through that as we talked about changes to the Constitution. This is a committee that would approve those changes to take it before the church. Finance Committee, that committee is a term committee, and so those are the ones that are on that. Flower Committee, they take care of the decorations around the church. Kitchen Committee, of course, that's who feeds us. Leadership and Planning Committee, those are the chairs and their position is listed beside their name. These are the chairs of committees and officers. Lord's Supper, these are the ones that will actually put together communion, have the little cups and everything together. Those is over the nominating committee. These are by position. These committees are by position. Also, they're listed there to the right of their names. Nursery committee takes care of the Bible buddies and nurseries for Sunday night, Wednesday night personnel. These are hiring, firing committee, look at the needs of personnel. Safety and security, these are the ones that kind of take care of safety and security. This is your committee for them. Sound and lighting, this is your audio visual people. That transportation is more or less in charge of the church bus. Youth Advisory Committee, if we had a youth pastor, these would kind of serve as his deacon board in a sense, and but this would also kind of constitute a pulpit committee too when hiring somebody for youth. So remember that. Special appointed committees. Building committee, these are committees that are special appointed, and they will not change. They may go away, but they will not change. Building committee, y'all saw the vision of the church, the wing that is to be put on our educational wing. These are the people that serve on that committee. Facility expansion committee, these are people that see the needs of growth within the church. And preschool research committee, when we were talking about starting a preschool here, these are the people that were on that. Both these committees should have dissolved, the facilities expansion and preschool committee, so we need to look at redoing that. All right, Rosedale Baptist Church deacons, Mike Sizemore, Terry Carter, Brad Knuckles, Dave Bostic, Mike Mead, and deacons in training are Elmer Sauls and Ralph King. Next sheet, is that the budget? Okay. Is 332 the final number we took in? This is new budget.
Proposed coming up, that's what they projected us to have.
This has done been voted on, correct? So it's no longer proposed, this is the budget for 2021-22. All right, so a couple things we done different than we have in the past. The first one is missions. That missions budget is usually around 10% of whatever we take in. The missions budget before, on your old budget, you would have saw co-op and association. We would split the missions between the two. We're looking at doing some different things, of course, with the Montana thing coming up that we talked about. The association is kind of going in a different direction, so there may not be as much need for financial support there, so we may look at doing some, but we wanted it to be a little bit more flexible. So instead of allotting it to those two entities, we may want to, of course, our cooperative program money goes into our missionaries and that type of stuff, and we may want more of a direct line for some of these things, so we just renamed that missions budget. Benevolence is for the benevolence committee to decide. Outreach, this is something, trunk or treat. You know, that's an outreach of the church. We have money there we can spend. Any kind of evangelism effort, outreach type thing. Honorariums, if we get somebody to come in and speak, you know, special speaker, different things, we take out of that. Bereavement condolences, a lot of times this was kind of used more during COVID. A lot of times Veronica would send flowers or different things. We don't normally do that per se as much, but during those times, it was different times. So we've kind of kept that in there in case we need it. Nursery and Bible buddies, that's monies for whatever they need. Probably $1,000 worth of goldfish.
Pull-ups.
Pull-ups and goldfish. So. Rosedale Kids, this is our kids' money that they can, the teachers and stuff, whatever they need, field trips or whatever, they've got money there to spend. The youth group has money there. Junior youth has money. Young at Heart has money there to spend. Of course, WMU, ladies group, Brotherhood has some money. I think out of Brotherhood comes our treat bags and stuff, doesn't it?
Yes, they usually sponsor that.
They usually sponsor that. Usually anything, any event or any type of thing, we'll get to that in a minute too, but any type of event, we try to put it under some committee. That way we know that somebody's kind of taking that on as a sponsorship. I know a lot of times the movie nights and different things, sometimes Young at Heart sponsors those, sometimes it's Brotherhood, the recovery at Lebanon, you know, next week, Kenny Sunday school classes, taking care of that. So those are things that we try to put under somebody to give us some direction. Music budget, media, sound and lighting, so remember that is there. Educational, anything educational, book-wise, Sunday school material, all that comes out of this budget. Bible school budget is there. Holiday presentations. Holiday presentations, like our seniors, when seniors graduate and stuff, usually is it $50 the church does for them. So usually all that money comes from there. What's some other things that make them out holidays? I know. That's what I drew a blank when I got to, because usually that budget is depleted by the time.
You do Christmas and birthdays?
We don't really do birthdays.
No.
I don't know, but usually that money's gone. We're usually scraping in that budget. I can't
Usually
think.
we have several seniors, in which we always do them a luncheon.
Yeah, we do a luncheon. Anyway, office supplies too, stuff that Veronica needs. Maintenance and subscriptions, that's kind of like.
That's our, like our fee to keep our website running, our fee to keep, our software that we use for our accounting, our Sam's Club membership, things
Copy
like that.
machine type stuff, so that's all that. Postage, kitchen supplies, church supplies, history, flowers and decorations, building and grounds, repairs and maintenance, insurances. That insurances is our building, fire insurance, liability and all that insurance. Of course, your electric bill, telephone, internet bills, janitorial services, mowing and grounds, water bill, my salary, Clyde's salary, Veronica's salary, mileage. Mileage is something that we, whether we're out on visitation or doing something for the church, the three of us can pull from this mileage pool. So that's kind of mileage for all of us. Travel, if we go to conventions or something, anything like that, conferences that I need to go to or different things, I have a budget for that. My retirement, Clyde's retirement, and Veronica's retirement. I know a lot of people, when we hired Clyde, of course, Clyde's, he's a little older than me, But, while we were talking about retirement, he said, I don't need retirement, but the neat thing through our retirement system is we have a retirement system through the Southern Baptist. So with that retirement system, Virginia Baptist kicks in a life insurance policy. So it doesn't matter if you pay $50 a month into retirement, you have that. Now it kind of steps down as you get older. I mean, when I first started, I think I had $100,000. Of course, that went down in, I think, 5-year increments. Y'all know how kind of term life insurance does. But that's free. So, and then there's some different things, some different other things that the state throws in for that. So that's why we went ahead and done a retirement thing for Clyde. My health insurance, our cell phone bills, we do. I don't know if any of you is familiar with Straight Talk, but I've had it for years and years. Me and Tony's had it for years. It's $500 a year. We buy a card at the beginning of the budget year, program that card, and that's it for the whole year. And our $550 it's usually, I think it's $4.99, and then time you do taxes and stuff, it's a little over $500. But that's for the year for our cell phones. Disability life insurance, employer taxes, appreciation package for me, appreciation package for Clyde, and appreciation package for Veronica. Leadership training, that is money that is to be spent on any type of leadership training that we go to. It may be a Bible school conference that we have, a Sunday school conference that we may want to take Sunday school teachers to, any type of training for the leadership of the church, and then safety and security budget. Now, a couple things I want to go up here and look at the budget. Under the line that says employer taxes. Well, taxes in ministry is a little different. In the Southern Baptist life, I know in some denominations you are actually an employee of that denomination. Southern Baptists are a little different. I am considered self-employed. So I have to pay my own Social Security and I pay my own income tax. So I don't, now once you have staff on board, only the senior pastor can become self-employed. Once staff is joined, according to the federal tax code, like Veronica and Clyde, we have to pay tax on them. Now, there is one break for my taxes. A lot of people think, well, pastor don't have to pay taxes. Well, he does, believe me. So what that does, I get a housing allowance. Now that housing allowance can be a percentage of my salary. I don't have to pay income tax on that housing allowance, but I do have to pay Social Security. Well, the Social Security rate is 15%. Usually an employer pays 7.5%, and the employee pays 7.5%. I have to pay that full 15% of my salary plus my income tax. So, I'm looking at a little over 20% on my taxes. But I do get a break with the housing allowance. I do have to pay Social Security on the whole amount. Like I have to pay Social Security, whatever my salary is, $57,000. I have to pay 15% of that to Social Security. Whereas by tax code, we are allowed to pay the employer portion of Clyde's and Veronica's taxes. So that is one break there. Any questions about the budget? How we spend money, or all right, next form, I'm going to skip one and go to this since we're on money. This form looks like this. This is a expenditure form. There's actually two forms on this sheet. But let's say one of the chairs of the committee is going to spend money. They go to Sam. What we're trying to do is, we know that a lot of times things happen and we may be out somewhere and have to spend money and we need reimbursed. That's what this is for. Not necessarily just an expenditure or a reimbursement form, but we'll get to that. What we're trying to do is navigate because we've got, with the plans that we've got some things, monies that are really going to be spent. We really need to know, to the best of our abilities, who's spending what. So we're trying to navigate and funnel all the spending through Veronica. So we're gradually growing towards that she does all the purchasing. Well, we know that that's not always going to be the case. So, if we're all out here and the five of us are out here spending money, and it's hard for one person to keep up with who's spending what. So we're trying to narrow it down so Veronica spends that. But let's say you are a committee chair, and Rick Horn, take him for example. He has to do a lot of these, but Rick Horn is down here. There is a water leak, and so we've got a toilet leak, and that seems to happen quite a bit. So we got a toilet leak, and he needs to fix that. So he runs out to Lowe's, runs Claypool Hill, goes to Lowe's, buys what he needs, fixes it, comes back, and he has that Lowe's receipt. Well, for accounting purposes, it's a lot easier for Veronica, instead of just laying a Lowe's receipt on her desk. She's like, well, what is this, or what is it for? Rick fills out this form, and he says who it's purchased by and why it was purchased. That way we know Veronica can kind of keep track. There's also a note there that maybe Rick was out somewhere and somebody said, hey, stop and, I'm here at the church, and I call Rick and say, hey, where you at? He says, well, I'm at Claypool Hill. Oh, while you're in Claypool Hill, we've got a toilet leak, and this is what you're going to need to fix it. Just while you're there, go ahead and pick it up. So Rick picks it up, but he don't have the Lowe's card with him. So he comes and he fills out this paper and he says, yes, I need reimbursed for this. He just pays for it out of pocket. Or he has a Lowe's card with him and he goes down here and he checks off Lowe's card. Personal reimbursement, no. Then Veronica can go down and say, all right, how did he pay for it? He paid for it on his Lowe's card. And then because Rick is let's say that he calls me, he knows I'm going to Rich Saints Hospital to visit somebody. And he comes in here and we got a toilet leak. And he calls me and he says, hey, are you going to be coming through Claypool Hill? I said, well, I can if you need me to. Well, stop at Lowe's and pick up these parts for this toilet. Okay. Then Rick's going to put purchased by Jeff Hinder, and he's going to sign off to approve it. Does all that make sense? It's kind of just a paper trail. That way we can go back and if one of these budgets comes up and we're like, man, what's building and ground spending? They're out of their repair and maintenance budget. Well, we're getting a lot of parts for toilets. So we've got a paper trail of kind of what's going on. Any questions on that? All right, monthly event form. All your chair people have these. This is an activity of Brotherhood. We had Brotherhood breakfast yesterday morning. We write down. Frank would write down, the date. Brotherhood breakfast at Rosedale Baptist Church. Number of participants. He may go through all that. That helps us because at the end of the year, Veronica's got to do reports of how many mission trips the church has been on, how many people in our church went on mission trips, how much mission work has been done. What's some other things on that report that we've got I can't remember all that, but these help us by the end of the year when we have to do our reports to go back and know how many hours, how many people, we've spent. So that is a very important paper. Event proposal, this is really for anybody. Event proposal. A group, youth group's gonna go to Dollywood. So they come in here and they put youth group, Dollywood's destination, here's the dates, here's the times. It's gonna be a day event. We're gonna leave early that morning, be back by that night. The reason for the event, well, you know, we got mission, social, education. You know, fellowship's a big part of the church, and kids going to Dollywood, you know, there may be, we've took them to Dollywood to a concert before, music concert, so, you know, there's reasons to go or whatever, but we've got a reason of why we're going. What goal is there? Maybe it's to bring unity within the youth group. And then there's office stuff there. As we look at that, that way we know we can plan on when they're going to be gone, what time they're going to be gone. You know, they're going to be taking the bus. So, you know, we need to have somebody kind of on standby. You know, maybe I'm not going on the trip, but Shorty is. Shorty can drive the church bus, so Shorty said, yeah, I'll take them down there. And, you know, there may be a situation, you know, I've had when I was driving a school bus for the county, it was Green Valley, they went to, I won't say maybe Dollywood, but anyway, they ended up calling me. They allowed me to go get county school bus and go down and pick them up on the county school bus and bring them back till they could get the, you know, well, they got a rollback or record and went down there and picked Green Valley's church bus up. So, you know, we can see things like that happen. So, and I know we went, Green Valley's bus broke down again. A bunch of our guys we were doing an association trip to go out to Richmond, and we were helping a church up there build a church. And they broke down at Royal Retreat up on the interstate. So they called back, hollered at me, and they said, bring our church bus. You know, I was prepared. I was kind of on standby if something went down. You know, if something goes down, well, our church bus is gone, I wouldn't hesitate to holler at Green Valley and say, hey, we need to borrow your church bus. We have no Baptist, you know. Churches, you know, our sister churches, that's what we're here for. But we need to kind of have somebody on standby. You know, if we got a trip going on and somebody's not ready, not prepared, a lot of times when we're going on trips and times before, I have contacted Green Valley and said, hey, we've got, you know, a group going down to this and this. And, you know, if we need it, can we, I just want to give you a heads up for church bus. Oh, yeah, and they've done the same with us. Trip proposal. This is a little different than an event proposal. Event proposal can be, that could be here at the church or anywhere.
Yeah, events more for here, more the local trip involves more of your transportation, eats, all that.
Yeah, a lot more planning. So a trip proposal, we've got a number of participants, for destination, day trip, day trip, afternoon, overnight trip, goals the same as the event. But some of the changes on this one is check all that apply. Our preferred method of transportation. Participants get to the destination on their own, church van, air, train, bus, public transportation. You know, does somebody want, do they need the church bus? Do they need airplane tickets? You know, are we going to Montana on a mission trip? You know, do we need to get together and get airplane tickets, blah, blah, blah. Food and meals to be included. That way we can tell all the participants, all right, we're going to provide breakfast, lunch, dinner. There'll be waters and snacks, and a level of involvement. So if I'm the group leader and I am, let's say we're going on a trip to Montana, and I'm the group leader, and so I want to submit this, and I'm going to tell this, I'll give this to Veronica. and I'm gonna take care of all the arrangements. When I take care of all the arrangements, that means I'm gonna get the church bus if I need to get the church bus. I'll find out who can drive it. It's me, Tanya, Larry, Burton, and Shorty. So I'll get with one of the four and make sure they're able to drive. If I need airplane tickets, I'm gonna look those up and get the best deal that I can get. Request assistance from the administrator with planning. I may harp Veronica and say, hey, can you get my plane ticket? You know, I need you to order something, we're gonna be spending money, so I'm gonna run it because I'm buying something, I'm gonna run it through you. Will you buy these plane tickets? So I'll work with Veronica. Or I'm gonna be like, this is what we wanna do, this is when we're gonna go, this is kind of our timeline, you take care of it. You know, Veronica's got 1,000 things going on, she may not buy the cheapest plane ticket, she may just get on there and look up and say, all right, we got 16 people going to Montana, I need 16 plane tickets, bam. You know, whereas you're like, all right, I wanna make sure that people are getting the best deal, the best bang for their buck, you know, we're on a limited budget, blah, blah, blah. So she can do it all, but it may not get done like you want it done, so be aware of that. I know we took a group somewhere, that was when Caleb was the administrator. She booked a hotel that I probably wouldn't let Bubba sleep in. And we're like, what in the world is it? And she's like, well, it looked good on there. So, you know, we may do a little, if you're going to go, if you're going to be on the trip, make sure you know where you're willing. You know, if you can look at the people and say, yeah, I booked this trip and this is where I'm going to be, you've got a little bit more online than we do. Facilities event request, you're wanting to have whatever here, say you're going to have a birthday party or whatever. So, no, this ain't it. All right, so this is still in-house church people. All right, I don't know how all these folks work. Facilities event request, let's say the youth are going to have Young at Heart, having a movie night. So they write all that down, name of group, Young at Heart, event description, movie night. Carol calls the contact person, she gets dinner, she goes, we're going to need a projector screen. We're going to need in the Sunday school room, which is what we're in now. No, we ain't going to need in the main building, we'll need in the fellowship hall for the screen. Outdoor facilities, we shouldn't be needing that for that event, so we know that we need the projector screens and the fellowship hall. And so that lets us know the equipment that we're going to be needing. Most of the rooms have TVs and all of them now, don't they? I know before we had a huge big screen TV, so if like one of the classes needed it, usually it was housed in the youth room, but if one of the classes were going to need it, they would fill that out and somebody would make sure it was in the room when they were there. Maybe they wanted to show a Bible story or something like that. So they would make sure that the TV was in the room and the DVD, that probably don't take place as much anymore. Medical release liability form, you will fill one of those out if you ever go on any kind of trip with any group. It's just something for us to know. You get out there and something happens, and we know where to go and what to do. Rules for use of the church. This is for anybody and everybody. I think this weekend we had a birthday. Somebody in the community had a birthday party here. That's good. I mean, I never want to have a church that's not used. There's no use in having a building if you ain't going to use it. A lot of churches, they frown on, a lot of times on outside people using the church and different things. Well, they may tear something up. Well, they may do tear something up. But what a witness it is that when maybe someday something strikes them, they say, hey, I want to go to church. Well, we've been to Rosedale, the birthday party, we kind of know where the doors are, so that's, that stuff. So we do want to be open with our church, but we do want to take care of it. So here's some rules for whoever uses it. The pastor of Rosedale Baptist is the only person allowed to perform any ceremony or service. So we put that in there. I'm the only one that can do a wedding here, and that's caused some friction between me and some other pastors. One of my good friends couldn't understand. His son wanted to get married, and he said, can we use the church? And I said, only if I marry him. He said, well, I'm doing the wedding. I said, I figured. But what that does is, a few years ago, a lot of the churches started putting into their bylaws that they wouldn't perform a homosexual marriage. Well, in my opinion, what that's opening the church up for is lawsuit. And is that you won't allow homosexual. We actually had one call Friday. So we were able to say no. Now, this is it. Can they sue me? Sure. They can sue me personally because I'm not going to perform that. At some point, I think there'll probably be some kind of jail sentence. Can they throw me in jail? Yeah. If I'm in jail, there's still not a wedding going on here because I can't perform it in a jail cell. So that, if I'm the only one that can do weddings here, that takes care of all up across the board. So that was the simplest way we found to do it. $300 security deposit. This is for anybody and everybody. And most time with church members, do we just write checks? It's usually in those probably aren't really deposited.
No.
Okay. So.
Expect our own joint
Then Veronica's heading to the bank. I don't think $300 is going to go real far, but we got you money. No use of mechanical candles only. No tacks, nails, glues will be used on any of the furniture. Someone will supervise the moving of furniture if needed. Piano is never to be moved. If you need sound and lighting, let us know. I've done weddings and they're like, well, are you not going to have it recorded? You didn't tell me to have it recorded. Is this going to happen? Is that going to happen? So they need to tell us, do you need music? Do you need sound and lighting? Do you want somebody to record it? Do you need music played? So all that is done on this form. Wedding events. The bride and couple must see that their photographer, florist, caterer, and any others involved in wedding preparations are aware and understood. So they become responsible for whoever they invite to their wedding. Supplies are the responsibilities of the person or persons holding the event should be removed after the event. Absolutely no food or drink upstairs. Rosedale Baptist is not allowed drinking alcoholic beverages on premises. No smoking inside the building. Does not allow unauthorized persons in sound view. And that, I've had done weddings and people's like, well, I know how to run that sound. I said, no, you don't. You're not touching it. You're not allowed to. You're not in there. Reserves the right to refuse the use of our facilities. And then that's that. Any questions on rules for the use of the church? All right, well, that finishes us up. Any other questions? Any questions y'all have going through all this? All right, well, let's go up.